Welcome to Impacting Jamaica, where we shine the spotlight on the many but often ignored positive happenings, activities, projects and investments at every level across every sector to inspire, motivate and excite people everywhere. Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, Red Stripe, Kyramed and Proven Investments Limited.
Welcome to Impacting Jamaica. I am Tamika Gordon. I'm speaking with Rashidi Thomas, co-founder of Giftme, a digital gift card company that has grown into so much more than that since it was established in 2021. Rashidi will be sharing the story of how they got started and some gems of entrepreneurship that he has picked up since launching this business. Thank you for joining us, Rashidi.
Thank you, Tamika. Happy to be here.
Great. It's good to have you. So first up, how do you describe your company in terms of what it is and what it offers to the public?
All right. So Giftme in a nutshell is a digital gift card platform that allows persons from anywhere they are in the world, whether in Jamaica, overseas, whatever it is, whereby you can go on our website and purchase a gift card for your loved one, for your friends, for any occasion. So we currently do business. We have about 250 merchant partners island-wide. And this comprises of merchants such as supermarkets, gas stations, cafes, popular restaurants, spas, Fontana, Zans, all the big names, all the brands that people love. So that's Giftme on the retail side. And we also have a corporate side whereby we allow corporate entities, companies in Jamaica who have rewards and recognition programs, incentives, birthday clubs, whatever it is, that they can now come onto our website also as a corporate, sign up for a corporate account, and they can buy gift cards in bulk for their employees.
Okay.
And customers, yes.
So how did Giftme come about?
All right. So Giftme, it was started by myself and another co-founder, Rashai, whereby he was in the States and he got an epiphany, so to speak. It was in COVID time, and he flew to the States and he was shopping in the mall. In the mall over there, you have the stands that sell physical gift cards where you can just buy a gift card from a stand, from a popular retailer and then, go and then redeem it. So, he thought about it and said, but, we don't have anything else in Jamaica. And also this is COVID time. Why don't we digitize merchant gift cards? Because, it's COVID. People still want to, feel connected and be in touch with their loved ones, right? Companies still have to engage their staff members, but COVID presenting a problem whereby now persons were not in office, persons were at home, persons did not want to go on the road to, in fear of contracting this virus. So it presented an opportunity now whereby we pretty much could go to these merchants and say, hey, we know it's COVID, it's a bad time for you guys in business now. However, one of the benefits of a digital gift card is that when persons purchase a gift card, you get the money, the merchant gets the money up front. So for a merchant, it was good because you could purchase a gift card for one of your particular merchants for your friend, and your friend may not go in and redeem this gift card immediately, but the merchant will have had, would have taken the proceeds from the purchase of his gift card and benefit from that. So, that was the genesis. We saw an opportunity, within the COVID time. And Rashai came back from the States and he said, Rashidi, look, I have this wicked idea. And at the time I was in between projects, and it was a bit of a limbo. And he presented me with the opportunity. And, we pretty much formed the company from there on, whereby he was really the architect, the software engineer behind the whole building of the platform, and whereby my skills, are more customer facing, marketing, sales, go out there, get the merchants, interact, all of that stuff. So it was a coming together of roles and an opportunity, that brought Giftme to where it is now.
Mm-hmm. So you guys have talents that complement each other.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's typically how technology startups are formed. You normally have, 2 to 3 persons who have, specific skills that the other don't have. And by coming together and putting these skills together, then you can really go to market and launch your product.
So Giftme started in the heights of the pandemic then.
Yes, it was May 2021. So it was in the heights.
What was that experience like, starting a business in this most unprecedented time?
Well, it was it was different. I mean, even though it was presenting an opportunity for merchants, you still had a lot of, what would I say, hindrances. Also because of, it's a digital platform, and typically Jamaican entrepreneurs or Jamaican persons are not necessarily quick to adapt to technology. Right. So that presented another barrier, another challenge. Persons just fear of scamming using their cards online. This is a new technology company. You don't have, you're not like you're saying that you're backed by another, a big name family in Jamaica. It's just 2 youth from country, spin up something and doing it. So it was a mixture of, facing resistance out there, trying to prove to the merchants, because we had to pretty much, Giftme is a two-sided marketplace. So meaning, what I mean by two-sided marketplace, I mean that you have to create the supply and the demand simultaneously, right? Because if you have a website and you don't have any merchants on there to sell gift cards, then there's nobody going to the website, right? And if you have users, but you don't have any merchants, then it doesn't make any sense either. So we had to simultaneously build both sides of the businesses. So we had to onboard merchants, and merchants that had a premium, type of feel, merchants where we know, people would want to buy their gift cards. And also we then had to run traffic to the website, raise the awareness to say, hey, you can actually buy gift cards from one location now, from your favorite merchant. So it presented a array of challenges, I must say. The biggest challenge I would say was just to, cultivate the trust with the merchants, to say this, we're a real company. This is a real thing, it works, etc., etc.
That was one of my questions, actually. What's the biggest challenge that you've had up to this point, and how have you overcome that?
Yeah. So, I mean, leaning on that again, in terms of a credibility standpoint, when we just started out, that was our biggest hurdle, I must say. Merchants were a little bit skeptic at first, so we had to strategically, know which merchant to target, starting out with our friends and persons who we know are a business, who we know personally. And from there, we would say then, okay, well, we have this cafe, who is the next competitor, right? So then we would say, oh, listen, we have this restaurant or this cafe or this spa, why are you not on it, right? It's working. So, and then we kind of use that to build momentum, and strategically too. When Giftme was launched in May, for the spas, we specifically targeted the spas at the time because it was Mother's Day that was coming around, right? So Mother's Day is in May. Spas sell the most gift cards, right? So now it's COVID, people are overseas, mothers are not going out. I mean, people still want to give their mother something. They may not be able to enjoy the gift right now, but the gift card allowed them to hold on to this gift card and use it when they felt it was safe enough to go out, right? So we strategically, went to, in times when we know gift cards will have sold the most. That is sometimes what we use to strategically target merchants. But I mean, it was a challenge, as I said, because there was always a credibility component to it, whereby we had to prove to these merchants that, listen, right, this is it. And, obviously persons have gotten burned as well, not only merchants, but users using their credit card. Right. That's also a challenge. Persons are afraid to use their credit cards online, even though they may use it on Amazon, But if it's a local company,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
it is different. It's unfortunately so. So we had to overcome a big hurdle, and we use different strategies to do that. Social proofing, just the mere fact that we send our merchants their money every week, and every week consistently, never miss a payment to our merchants. So that went a long way in building trust and just building the relationships with the merchants over time. Helped us to be where we are. So that was, I would say, the biggest challenge was a credibility issue at the time.
Interesting. Which takes me to my other question, as you mentioned, the skepticism, and the fear that locals have in terms of this industrial or digital space that we're now operating in. So we are at the turn of the fourth industrial revolution, where digital everything is now where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
How important do you think companies like yours are in helping to bridge our country's transition to this fourth industrial revolution?
Very, very important. We have started to see, companies like Link and, those type of companies have started to help to bridge that gap where persons are now, not so afraid, starting with the younger population, obviously, who are more tech first.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to tell you that COVID actually helped in that regard, because persons were forced to adapt, right? And it so happened that Giftme came in during that time. Now, if Giftme had started maybe 2 years before, maybe we wouldn't have this level of success.
Yes.
Right? As persons wouldn't be forced to change their behavior, right? But we have a mandate internally, that we want to create something impactful for the country of Jamaica, whereby persons, just see digital gifting as the norm, right? And one of the things that you have to do in tech to kind of change behavior and allow people to adapt easily is to use convenience to do that, right? So being a digital gift card provider, our services are very convenient, and that's one of the things that we drive home, to accelerate that adoption. So, long story short, yes, we do have an important role to play, and in the coming months, we'll be releasing, new features, new products that I can't really speak about now, that will, also aid and assist in the adoption of digital transformation.
Is there anything that you think, apart from existing in the space and providing services or products, is there anything else that you think that tech firms such as yourself, like Giftme, can do to support the growth, or better yet, how can we as a nation support the growth of more companies like yours?
For sure, one of the things is that, you have a lot of bright minds out there who want to go out and build products. A large part of why you haven't seen more tech startups coming out is just the funding aspect of it, because it does take money, right? You do have to, if you don't have a private backer or you're not from a rich family, then that is a hurdle within itself. So as a country, we definitely need to have more incubators, more persons who are willing to go out and invest in these type of companies, and not only want to invest in real estate for argument's sake, because that's just the safest thing to normally to invest in. But tech has a lot of potential, right? For an investor, for them to see, enormous returns. So I know, for example, DBJ has, they are trying, right? I've seen where they have given grants for this type of thing. But I also believe that from an educational standpoint, if the government in power at the time could incentivize programs that are geared towards more technology, in terms of, for example, if you want to go to UE or UTech to do ComSci or to do, anything that is software engineer related or in the tech space itself, because not, you can be tech and not, it doesn't have to be coding, right? But you want to kind of give those people maybe a break in terms of a lower fee or, a grant towards going and pursuing these things. So I think it has to start from there to incentivize persons to go out and want to learn more about tech. And then from there, you will have more people that are coming out into the space that, have more ideas, and that will kind of bring the market to a point whereby persons would want to invest in these type of companies.
And build out an ecosystem for that level of growth.
It's precisely because it's very fragmented. There's no real, in the States, it is so developed, right? Information is there at your fingertip. You have these ecosystems whereby you fall into these ecosystems, you have so much support. You have so many people who have done it before. You have the financial support. You have the thought leaders in the space that you can learn from. So all of that has to come into play to kind of really build out that robust ecosystem that we need here in the Caribbean. Unfortunately, the Caribbean is lagging far behind. Even Africa is way farther than us in terms of technology and startup tech and all of these things. So the Caribbean to me is very far behind, and we definitely need to catch up.
We definitely do.
And now a word from our sponsors.
John, me know you're in there. Me want know when lights are come back. I know Pinky this time.
Keisha, just like me tell Pinky, give JPS your number and then we'll send your text with them things here. So you can stop, knock me door.
What you mean?
DM or call JPS and tell them to add your phone number to your account and you will know everything all the time.
You know for ask. Send your current contact information and always be in the know. Visit jpsgo.com for more info.
Searching for a one-stop solution to all your facilities maintenance needs? Visit Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center. We stock a wide range of COVID-19 washroom cleaning and other supplies, gardening tools, chemicals, and more. Our experts are always ready to give you the best advice. Manpower Maintenance Services Sales and Distribution Center, 14 Collins Green Avenue, Kingston, Freeport Commercial Center, Montego Bay, and 33 Ward Avenue, Mandeville. Visit or call us today, 876-920-47215.
Manpower, come in and see what we do.
Welcome back to our podcast.
So tell me now, how did the two country boys come to, have a company like Giftme? You mentioned, two country boys in it. I want to talk about, a little bit about your background as a child growing up.
Yes.
Were you from a family of entrepreneurs? How did your life as a child help to make you into who you are today?
So my story is a bit unique, and I'll get to it why. So yes, my family, I'm from an entrepreneurial background. My mother is a business consultant and my father is an attorney, right? So they never actually worked a 9 to 5. My father definitely not. My mother maybe when I was just a young, a tot, but forever since she was an entrepreneur through and through. And I realized that my background, my professional background, I went to uni, studied economics. I did a master's in finance, and I work in investment banking for most of my life, right? But I'm interested in investment banking, more portfolio management. So, responsible for investing people's money, high net worth individuals' monies. I worked at Proven Investments. My last stint in the investment world was at JN Fund Managers, which when I left in 2019, I believe, right? So, but even working in that environment, it's almost as if I was a little rebel. It never feel natural, I never liked the fact that I was started out as a banker. I would go to work and everybody's in ties, and I just decided I'm not wearing no tie, right? I used to, think that a lot of these things was unnecessary, and it was, a lot of things that you encounter in the banking situation is just unnecessary, and it inhibits growth and innovation. So, I had always, when I went out to do my master's in Portugal in 2015, I think that was really the turn in my mind to say, boy, when I come back to Jamaica, I don't think I want to go back into this banking thing, right? Because I was so exposed to, entrepreneurship on a different level. Things that you could do. But lo and behold, when I came back in 2015, I had to find a job. because when you go to school overseas, you come back and you're broke, right? And the truth is that I just had to take, what I was proficient in at the time, which was investment banking. So fast forward to 2018 thereabouts, I met Rush, who is the other co-founder, through another project I wanted to do when I was working in the bank, a tech startup, just the same. And I came to him with the idea, and we started it. It was far down the wicket. I was still working at the time, but we were working on it, on the side, with the hope that I wouldn't exit and we'll go and do this project. It was more something in the financial services, equity trading, that type sort of thing. And we encountered a few regulatory challenges, and that project kind of stopped. And I was like, boy, because I left the bank to go ahead because it was moving at such a fast pace. I said, okay, now is the time for me to go ahead and give it all my, all my attention and my energy. And just at the point when we were ready to go, we were faced with some challenges that we didn't foresee. And, from there, that was the limbo space that I was in. And it just so happened that, through my relationship with Rush, working on this previous project, he understanding what I brought to the table and I understanding what he brought to the table, he had this idea and then he came to me. So it was kind of the reverse, in this situation. When I met him first, I was the one who presented him with an opportunity, and he decided to, but it didn't work out how the way we wanted it to work out. And he then, popped up with this bright idea and said, boy, let us do it together. So
the idea then is to not give up on the dream or the aspiration of doing your own thing, honestly, and finding the time.
Honestly, there are so much opportunities out there. What I mean opportunities, sometimes people look to go into technology, like the tech space, and you want to do something that is world changing, right? Sometimes it doesn't even need a product that is world changing. You just need to be solving a problem. And solving a problem that people are willing to pay for. The problem should be so what would I say? Such a bother to the person we are selling it to that
they'd be willing to pay to solve it.
So that is exactly where Giftme came about in terms of the timing was right in terms of COVID. They had a problem. People had a problem buying gift cards. Companies had a problem buying gift cards in bulk because it's now out of office. They can't manually distribute these gift cards to people who are working at home, which is a cost, right? So it's literally finding a problem and trying to solve it. And honestly, the entrepreneurship world, and anybody would tell you, you're never gonna go through it without any sort of failure, right? You may fail first 1, 2, 3 projects before you find the one that really takes off. And I'm a testament to that because I did 2 tech. The first thing I tried was a logistics company, whereby I wanted to supply all the riders, all the logistics companies in Jamaica with a platform whereby they could track their riders, dispatch all of these things, because I realized that they were running these things and it was not anything that
you mean bike riders,
bearers, tech driven.
Okay.
But I mean, at the time, this was in 2019 or 2018, it's the same. I think it was made too early, and I never had the knowledge that I have now. And it never really go anywhere. And then I tried something else, it failed, and then no, this is Giftme. So
you've grown into it.
I've grown into it. And I mean, a big part of it is that you can't be fearful of failure. I think a lot of the reasons why persons don't take on the entrepreneurship route is through fear. Of what if it doesn't work? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? Which is, I mean, I can understand. I can understand where that comes from.
But once you overcome that, then you'd be surprised to see how you actually take off.
Precisely.
Yeah. Let's take a break now to hear from our sponsors. Welcome back. I'm speaking with Rashidi Thomas, co-founder of Giftme, and he's sharing the story of the birth and growth of Giftme, as well as some gems in terms of entrepreneurship that he has learned along the way. All right. So, Rashidi, here's my other question as we were talking about, not being fearful and stepping out as an entrepreneur and launching your idea, not being fearful of failure because, you have to fall a few times before you actually succeed. So the question is, what advice would you give to nervous entrepreneurs about starting and scaling a business?
Well, starting first and foremost, I believe you have to, what we call in technology, find product market fit, meaning that when you have a new idea and you want to know, build on this idea, before you start taking on money, investors' money, and pumping a lot of money behind this, thinking that, it will work, you build it and customers will come. It actually doesn't work like that. Right? In my experience, it really doesn't work like that. You have to find product market fit. And product market fit is maybe, once you have passed the stage whereby your friends and family have, like your product, because your friends and your family them support you. If you can find 20, 30, 40 more people outside of your direct circle to buy something that you're selling, then you're starting to have some semblance of product market fit. Meaning that your product now, is starting to generate revenue organically. Not from people who just like you because this is Tamika and he's my friend, right? Or is my family member. Another thing is, don't be afraid to pivot, right? So scaling, yes. So you find product market fit and know you want to scale this product. So some of the things that you have to figure out is the market big enough, right? Who are your target audience? In tech, one thing that I realized is you may look on the market and say, yeah, man, everybody want my solution. But the hardest thing in tech is to sell to everybody. You have to be selling to a specific niche, right? It could be barbershop, it could be here, makeup artists, it could be creators, it could be small businesses, it could be bakeries, it could be, right? So my philosophy is finding a niche and solving a problem for that specific niche, not trying to solve everybody's problem, because then, that's kind of impossible, right? So, once you have found product market fit, you found your niche that you're trying to solve the problem for, and, persons out of this niche has started to pay for your service, then, along the way, and I can say for Giftme in terms of, and I go back to pivoting, what we thought Giftme would have been starting out is not what it's not where it's going.
Interesting.
Yes.
How so?
Because initially it didn't start out as a marketplace. We didn't have a website. It was just to give a merchant their own gift card link, and then they would then go ahead and put it on their Instagram, put it on their website, and persons would go to them and purchase it from them. But realize that one of the problems small merchants, small businesses face is that they don't have the time to go and learn digital marketing and how to attract customers to a digital product, because they are brick and mortar. So the problem that we solve is that we actually don't provide the service for e-commerce merchants, right? Our target audience are brick and mortar merchants, persons who have a storefront, who need, they need to know digitize, certain products that will help them attract, retain, and upsell customers. And gift cards is one such product out of the tool shop that they have, right? So, so when we started out, we didn't have a shiny marketplace. It was literally, hey, we will give you a digital gift card infrastructure, whereby now you can advertise to your own customers and they will buy the gift cards from you digitally. Realize that wasn't working. So we needed to know, because we know that merchants are not inclined to do that. They really want just for it to happen. You drive, you advertise, and you did the sale for them. And so that's where the marketplace was born. Right, whereby we have the website and you can go and shop. It wasn't designed to be like that initially.
So you had to retool, rethink, rejig while you're running.
So we have done, we have tried products before, which we have launched, but we haven't launched, in any great fashion, and it didn't work, and we just kind of come back to the drawing board. So there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, that help to shape the company, but I mean, one of the things that I must say is that sometimes entrepreneurs get wedded or get married to a specific idea. So they have the idea in their mind and, it sounds good and this is how it should work. But when you go to market with it, it's just not taking, right? No, you can either kill it or you can pivot and try a new approach, right? To get to the same end goal. So, that's another thing, don't be married to an idea. It sounds good in your head until you go there. So sometimes you have to pivot, and you may have to pivot. When I mean pivot, it doesn't mean selling a totally different product, You might just pivot in the way how you're selling it and who you're selling it to.
Right.
Right.
What is your personal success strategy?
My personal success strategy.
Yeah, what works for you? What has been the thing that you think has allowed you to stick to it, not give up? And what do you think makes you that person that, gives you that mindset to say, I'm going to rejig, I'm going to redefine and continue?
Yeah, I mean, short answer is, one of the things that I have a son, right? I have a 4-year-old, so that's an extra motivation for me to keep going. I always had big aspirations from when I was a young boy, right? I did not see myself, really working for anybody for too long, for the rest of my life. And I don't see myself going back into a 9-to-5. So this just has to work, right? Because there's no way I'm going back to work in a 9-to-5. It's just not going to happen. So it has to work by the hook or the crook. So I'm highly self-motivated, one, and not necessarily by in terms of material things, in terms of, yes, of course, everybody, wants to have a nice car, wants to have a nice house. But it's a little bit more for me in terms of, my ideal life, or how I want to live my life, is really to have time to do what I want to do. Time to me is the most valuable asset that anybody could have. Unfortunately, I believe that most of us work to accumulate enough wealth or enough money so they can then have time. But unfortunately, that time comes too late sometimes when you're too old.
Exactly.
Right? When you're 65 and 70, you don't get to enjoy life. Right? I don't plan to be that person, right? So one of my motivations is, listen, this thing has to work and we're going to stick to it, for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whereby now at that point in time, we'll be able to reap the benefits of the work you have put in and be able to have the time to explore other things, whatever you want to do with your life at that point in time. Then it's really up to you, because now you're not on that wheel, trying to make up, trying to, go at it every day, just trying to accumulate this amount of money, so you can find the time later. And the truth is that, unfortunately, in a structured 9-to-5, it's very difficult. It's kind of designed for you to go through the rungs, That's just how it is. You don't really control your own destiny, so to speak, in that fashion. So if you want to be able to put yourself in a position where you control your destiny and you decide, when I can say, all right, I think I have done this, I've made some impact, I am at a stage in my life where I can, run off into the sunset.
Exactly.
Yes.
What has been one of the most rewarding experiences? So we often talk about, the pitfalls or the failures, but what has been one of the most rewarding experiences for you as an entrepreneur? And how has this led, to your personal growth and the growth of your business?
All right. So one of my, in the business itself, because I have been a sales leader through and through from all steps of my career. Even though I was in banking, it did teach me a lot of important things that I know use now. So I don't bash it. I don't bash my past. But one of the hardest, most difficult merchants that we were prospecting, and I can't call the name now because we have him as a merchant, was Starbucks. took us over a year.
Wow.
And in this business, if you're highly motivated by wins, no, Starbucks is a big merchant. They're internationally, globally known, and they're the king of gift cards globally. Nobody sells gift cards as much as Starbucks. Knowing that we actually stuck in, did the work, presented a good value, a good exchange of value to them, knowing that they were willing to come on and use this third-party, local grown, local based built platform, and not looking for a third party overseas, because a lot of times that's what happens. Companies are, kind of skeptic about using homegrown technology solutions. They rather to go out and look for it overseas, right? Based on their perception of the level of quality. But the mere fact that we were able to get Starbucks on as a merchant after over a year of back and forthing, right? Sometimes we thought that we would never get them. It was a highly rewarding experience for me personally. It really contributed to the growth of Giftme, because Starbucks is Starbucks, right? It gave us more credibility to our platform as, listen, we're a company that can work with anybody, right? And we had to go through international clearance. We had to be vetted by their international team before they could join our platform. So the mere fact that we know that we have a good product, we built it from the ground, and we prospected a merchant that, typically it's not a merchant that works with third-party outside vendors to sell gift cards. I would say that's our most rewarding experience so far working with the company.
Yeah, so that being able to stick to it and pitch and repitch.
Yeah, a lot of that went on. You can imagine, over a year.
Yeah, that was really a long time.
Yeah.
You have truly shared a lot of gems with us in terms of entrepreneurship and, not being fearful, stepping out, not being afraid to redefine and to pivot. Thank you so much for joining us on Impacting Jamaica, Rashidi. Is there anything else that you want to add in terms of, one last gem that you want to say to entrepreneurs?
Never stop learning. Everything our generation has an advantage because we have YouTube, we have the internet, and now we have ChatGPT AI, that literally anything in the world you want to know and find out, any idea that you want to go and launch, right? You can go and research it and, dig down, drilling into the problem to try and solve it. So don't be afraid to learn more, never stop learning. And as I said, don't be fearful.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for sharing with us here on Impacting Jamaica. And we wish you and your partners and your business all the best and continued success.
Thank you, Tamika. Thanks for having me.
Impacting Jamaica is powered by the Philip and Christine Gore Family Foundation, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited, the Jamaica Public Service Company, Red Stripe, Kyramed, and Proven Investments Limited. If you or anyone you know is involved with projects and activities that excite, motivate, and encourage, send us an email to impactingjamaica@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Do join us again for another in the series on Google Podcast, Audible, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and Stitcher. You can also visit us at impactingjamaica.com.